What does NNN mean? It means net of CAM, net of real estate taxes, and net of insurance. Triple net. So what is that? It means that it is a type of lease structure, a triple net lease structure in a lot of commercial leases. And the difference between a triple net lease and a full service lease or a gross lease is that when a tenant in this lease structure gets charged their rent, the rent charges are separated. They have their base rent, then they have their operating expenses, or the triple nets. And CAM is common area maintenance. That includes all the costs to maintain the common areas of the property, between landscaping, cleaning, portering, trash, maintenance, R&M, things like that. And then obviously insurance would be the insurance of the common areas, not the interior insurance, but the insurance of the building, the general liability, and things like that. And then the real estate taxes would be self-explanatory, the real estate taxes of the property. And those real estate taxes, usually a savvy landlord, they're going to hire a consultant or an attorney or something like that to make sure that the real estate taxes are the lowest that they can be. So they're always monitoring what the property is appraised at and seeing if it's a fair assessment, and to see if there's a way to lower it. So the triple net lease is a little bit different than, let's say, in office buildings and industrial buildings. You have more full service or gross leases or over the base year leases, and certainly with multifamily it's just one rent, which is the gross rent. This is something that makes retail commercial real estate a little bit different, is that almost all of the leases are on triple net leases. And that's also a reason why they think that, or a lot of investors feel that, the commercial real estate, especially shopping centers on a triple net lease structure, is a great hedge for inflation, because if the operating expenses go up, then those increased operating expenses can be passed along to the tenants. So if insurance goes up, if your landscaping, whatever goes up, then that's all a pass-through expense. And that's what the NNN stands for, triple net lease. And this is part of my answer key series on YouTube, which is the answer key for my Retail Leasing Associate Proficiency Test that I have posted on my LinkedIn. If you're looking for that, it's in one of my LinkedIn articles. And I'll be posting answers for all of the questions that are on there over the next few months. So please stay tuned. My name's Hue Chen. I'm president of Saglo Companies. I've been in commercial real estate, specifically shopping centers, for 25 years. I'll catch you. FF&E stands for furniture, fixtures, and equipment. And in the commercial real estate world, it is usually describing restaurant equipment, but it can also describe coin laundry equipment or any other equipment heavy types of use categories. So back in the day when I was doing leasing, when you asked someone if their startup costs included FF&E, or maybe you would ask them, what did they have planned for their FF&E? You were referring to furniture, fixtures, and equipment. And in the restaurant space, that could be a pretty significant amount. So for a 4,000 square foot restaurant, the FF&E alone, might be $500,000, or maybe $1 million. And so it's something to really be mindful, especially when you're negotiating with those types of businesses. A coin laundry, the FF&E can easily be $1 million, because the machinery that they're putting in is very substantial. A lot of it is leased, so that's another thing that you might want to ask about. Hey, is the FF&E leased, or do you own it outright? Because if it's leased or if it's financed, more often than not, they're going to ask the landlord, if you're representing the landlord, for a landlord lien waiver. Because in a retail lease, unless there's a lien waiver, a landlord lien waiver, the landlord actually has first lien rights on all of the FF&E that the tenant puts into the space. So if the tenant were to vacate overnight, then the landlord has first lien rights on everything in there. And if there was another company that financed or leased, like let's just say a refrigerator or something like that, and they didn't get the landlord lien waiver, well, hey, look, the landlord's got first lien. The equipment's in the landlord's property, and they got first lien rights. So tough luck. You should have got a lien waiver. So that's kind of how it works. BOMA. So you pronounce that as BOMA, Building Owners and Managers Association. So what is that? That is really more geared for office buildings, maybe industrial as well. Not as many retail people are within BOMA, but one of our property management executives are. And it is a great organization that brings together a lot of the professionals within the office space and the industrial space, a little bit of retail. They share best practices. You can get vendor references and things like that. They also have networking events, conferences, and such. Also, within retail, you'll hear often that and this I think goes for pretty much all spaces within retail, all leased premises, that the premises itself is measured to BOMA standards. And what that means is that when you're renting a 1,000 square foot space that's 20 feet wide by 50 feet deep, the way that they measure it is not from the interior surface of the wall to the interior surface of the wall. Actually, for shared walls, meaning that there's another space, another tenant adjacent to that space, for shared walls, they actually measure from the center point of that wall, the midpoint of the wall. And so you have to add, I think, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches for that wall. And then on the other wall, if that's also shared, then it's also from the center point of that wall, in the middle of the wall. And then for non-shared walls, which is usually your front of the space and the back of the space, you go all the way to the exterior. So you add about 6 to 8 inches, maybe 8 inches on the back and 8 inches on the front. So what you end up doing is when you look at interior space versus to BOMA standards, then you're adding maybe a foot of width and maybe a foot and a half of length. So you have a little bit higher square footage. And oftentimes, if you're a leasing associate, what would happen is if you lease to like a local tenant that's not familiar with this, they'll have their flooring guy go in, and the flooring guy will say, hey, this is only 900 square feet of flooring. And then the tenant will come to the landlord and say, hey, I thought I leased 1,000 square feet. Why is it 900 square feet? Then you'd have to explain, well, no, the space is measured to BOMA standards, which is the center point of the shared walls to the exterior wall of the non-shared walls, and that's why it's not the usable square footage. So that's a little bit of a background with BOMA. CAM. So that stands for CAM, which you might be familiar with because it's used in a lot of different asset types, including apartments and things like that. And what that stands for is common area maintenance. And within the shopping center space, if you think of an open air shopping centers, it is all of the space or all of the surface area and real estate that does not service an individual tenant. So the parking lot is part of the common area, the walkways are part of the common area, the roof is part of the common area, and so forth, the landscaping and the retention ponds and ingress and egress and things like that. So what would not be considered common area would be anything within the tenant's space, or if it only services that tenant. So for example, with shopping centers, air conditioning units that service only that one tenant, that's not common area because it only services that tenant, which is a little bit of a difference between the retail asset type and office or industrial, where maybe in an office building you have one HVAC unit that services the whole building or multiple floors of tenants, for example. So that would be common area maintenance. And in the retail setting, the tenants, most of the time, almost all the time, the leases are set up so that the tenants of the shopping center pay their proportionate share or reimburse for their proportionate share of the cost to maintain the common area. So that would all be detailed out in their lease. Hope you enjoy.